I hear it.
Paris?
Bravo. Hey, welcome back to another episode of 1980s Now, a weekly examination of 1980s pop culture and its continued influence. Today, my name is Will, and joining me, as always, are my friends and co-hosts, Kat and John. Hello, guys.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Yay.
Back again in the same place. Love it.
Yeah. I guess we recorded some intros for some episodes we did a couple weeks ago, so it doesn't feel like I haven't seen you in so long, but before we had recorded that, it was like interminable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's probably not a good idea to do those types of breaks during the winter because the lack of sun already had me feeling down.
Oh, right.
Mm.
And then you guys are my alternate source of vitamin D.
It's our beaming smiles. Just bring the sunlight. Yes, that's what it is.
You're my main source of vitamin D.
She doesn't go outside.
And speaking of big D energy, don't forget to check out Gen X Grown Up.
Oh,
John's big vitamin D energy. John's other podcast, Gen X Grown Up, and his YouTube channel and the like.
Thanks.
Especially if you're interested in retro video games, because John is, look, just by his shirt, you can tell alone. He's an expert. You know what game that is, Kat, on his shirt?
Space Invaders.
There you go.
That's right. You got it. That was the game today. You won.
Look at that. We're 1 minute in and Kat's already got a win.
Yeah. Hey, we are recording this episode live here on Facebook and YouTube so that our audience can participate. So you folks out there in the right now in our Facebook audience, please, and YouTube audience, please give us a shout in the comments because otherwise we don't know you're there. We really don't. It doesn't tell us anybody's there or who's there unless you say something. Or don't. You can lurk too. Lurking is allowed. Hey, I want to let you guys know. Oh, you know what? I have a thing here. Let's see. Can I do this without breaking a stride here? Probably not. There we go. Hey, this episode is brought to you courtesy of the wonderful fine folks over at Kokomo Toys and Collectibles. This is the largest toy store in the Midwest. It was featured on Nissel's, one of our favorite documentarians, Nissel, Brian Volkweiss's company. Nissel's A Toy Store Near You. In fact, it's the one store that Brian says at the opening is the store he has still yet to visit and the one he most longs to visit. Anyway, so thanks to Kokomo for not only sponsoring this episode, but we're going to be giving away a collectible or two later in the show. So stick around. It's really easy for you to win it.
Yes.
We're going to have you type in a secret word.
Ooh.
The word will probably be Kokomo. Hashtag Kokomo. But maybe we won't tell everybody else that later. I don't know. Hey, if you want your chance to win a prize and join us in chat, to participate in the conversation here, join us next time. We are live on Facebook and YouTube every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Hey, on today's show, however, after 1980s news, we're going to be talking about our fictional crushes. Before you ever fell in love with an actual human, provided that you have, not everybody probably has, you most likely had a crush on a fictional TV or film character. They may even have been animated. So we're going to be talking about who they were and why it was even important that we had those at all. Right? Okay.
Ready.
Hey, before that, though, we're going to talk about news stories related to 1980s media, including, I got nothing clever here. I'm just going to tell you what it is. The first one, it was too obvious, and then they peter out. The first one, does the new Roadhouse pack a punch? I mean, that's
right, not bad. That's okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
that works. That's good.
And then how Madonna's being sued by some fans, and has the story of how a child has beaten Tetris. What?
Wow. Yes.
They definitely became lower effort as you went along.
effort, John. I was trying.
Oh, were you?
But see, maybe that's worse because I tried and still was like, I got nothing.
You couldn't do like the Tetris kid finds the final piece of the puzzle or something like that? Nothing? Nothing? Really?
That would have been much better. You're right, John. That was the second game of the show. So that's how to do that for me.
2 wins. We're already doing well. Yeah. All right. 1 apiece.
Hey, brief announcement here before we get going. Look, I've already mentioned we're going to be live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern on Facebook and YouTube, or until it turns out to be a bad idea. Now, that's possible. Right? I mean, we've done other stuff where it's like gung-ho, and then it's like, that was a terrible idea. Let's not do that anymore.
What was that? What turned into bad ideas? I can't think of it.
Or until Kat has a Duran Duran concert that's more important than us, in which case we'll have to defer.
Some sort of interruption. No. And also, as I mentioned, look, Kokomo Toys and Collectibles is sponsoring this episode, but we've got some well, first of all, I got to mention this to you. Kokomo, by the way, those folks are amazing. Not only did they agree to sponsor this episode, but they said, hey, what do you want to give away? And I said, I'm not sure. You guys have so many amazing things. What do you suggest? And they said, hey, we'll send you some things. You could give away whatever you'd like. They sent a box. I am not kidding. It is like 2 feet by 2 feet. It was on the outside of the box. It said 2 people needed to lift, for safety purposes.
Don't hurt your back with all the cool toys.
There are dozens and dozens of amazing things in there that we're going to be giving away over the next several weeks. But we've got some other sponsors lined up as well with some other prizes for our live Facebook and YouTube audiences. The other thing I wanted to mention, hey, later this week, you're going to hear our interview with Robin Block, who Robin was a guest on the show, I want to say 3 years ago. He's the CEO and executive producer at Creator VC. Speaking of documentarians that we love, this is another company that produces amazing documentaries. You might have seen them, undoubtedly, if you're a fan of films. They did the In Search of Darkness, which was 3 volumes, or soon to be 3 volumes of documentaries about 1980s horror films. And they're moving on to the 90s. Now they did In Search of Tomorrow, which is sci-fi for the 80s. And now they've got a special, just really, I can't explain it. You're going to have to hear our chat with Robin. They're focusing on The Thing, 1982's John Carpenter's The Thing, in this crazy, they're calling it an expanded documentary, where they plan on digging into it in a way that hasn't been, examined. So check out that interview coming up shortly. All right. Yeah. Hey, that's enough of that. Let's get started on 1980s news. Right? Since my teleprompter isn't working, I'm going to have to look at paper. That's okay. I'm used to doing that.
Shuffle.
What if I just held up cue cards for you? What if I wrote everything?
That'd be great.
Yes.
Just swap out cue cards.
Yeah, we just focus on you the whole time, the whole show.
Just keep talking. Yeah, I'll swap them out.
Don't even show me.
I'll have them all written with a Sharpie.
Well, if I'm not showing you, I guess I could hold up the paper too. Or, you know what, John? Instead of doing the news, I could just hold up my notes.
Or we could just read it to you, and you nod along.
Yeah. Sure.
Or our audience can just read it. That's it. We'll just watch them, except not.
Something
Wait,
like
what?
that, yeah.
We'll look for comments.
Hey, this week on 1980s News, as reported by Planet Radio, Madonna kicked off the the headline is "Fans Sue Madonna." And here's the story. A little bit of back story, taking it back a little bit. Madonna kicked off the North American leg of her celebration tour in December, on December 13th, at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York. At that time, she told this is going to be prescient or important. At that time, she told the audience present, quote, "We do shit our way. New York is not for little pussies who sleep," end quote. and again,
certainly not.
As you're going to see, that might have been a disclaimer of sorts. Maybe she intended it. Exhibit A in this lawsuit. I don't know. But playing out over 7 acts, the concert tells some version of Madonna's story. We talked about months ago how Madonna's biopic got canceled, and then she announced this tour, which seems to be her way of still, telling her tale. But the dancers take the stage dressed as various incarnations of the Queen of Pop at different, stages of her life. And the set list contains 27 career-spanning hits, which is a welcome change because usually she just focuses on whatever album she's promoting, and which I hate that. I hate when people do that.
Yeah, play the hits.
Yes.
Now, it's funny because look, the concert is long, and she fit in 27 songs, but people are still complaining. You didn't do Dress You Up. This show sucks. I mean, come on.
It's your favorite. But that's not what the audience was so upset about.
No.
Right.
She was not sued over not playing Dress You Up.
No. Although, I mean, after you hear the suit, I mean, maybe anything is fair game here.
Yeah.
The good news for Madonna is that even though Material Girl is just 2 years shy from collecting Social Security, according to Rolling Stone, she wasn't tired during the performance. The tour de force of sights and sound continued until 1 o'clock in the morning.
Whoa.
So it began on one day and ended on another.
Mm-hmm. We call that a red eye concert.
Is that right? Okay, that makes sense.
Just like flights.
Yeah. See, I'm counting on you guys for your experiences of these sort of things because, as you know, I don't like concerts.
Right.
But the bad
Or
news
people,
from
or being in public.
yes, or loud things, or music, or Madonna.
Or sitting near others. All the everything in a concert.
Yes.
Or live music for that matter.
Yes, or beer, or whatever. I don't know. What else do they have there? T-shirt or paraphernalia, merchandise.
Oh.
Hate merchandise.
Garbage. Hate that.
The bad news for Madonna is that 2 exhausted fans are suing her, Live Nation and the Barclays Center, stating that they, quote, would not have paid for tickets, and, quote, had they known it would finish so late. So the fans, Michael Fellows and Jonathan Haddon, claim in court papers submitted at Brooklyn Federal Court on January 17th that Madonna took the stage more than 2 hours late at that
There it is.
inaugural show.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. It's not that it ended so late. It's that it started so damn late.
Well,
You don't expect an 8:30 show to last till 1 in the morning.
yeah.
Then she'd be a tired 2 years from retirement lady.
That would be exhausting.
She had took a 2-hour nap before the show. That's why she wasn't exhausted.
Yeah. Well, it turns out, John, both of these things upset these folks because that they say, in spite of the, they argue that, quote, many ticket holders who attended the concerts on a weeknight had to get up early to go to work and or take care of their family responsibilities the next day, end quote. And elsewhere, they state that they were, quote, left stranded in the middle of the night with limited public transportation, limited ride sharing, and or increased transport costs when the show ended in the early hours.
I have 2 thoughts here, and I don't know. I didn't divine it from the article, but what was happening during the 2 hours? If there was an opening act, not that you would expect an opening act to run for 2 hours, but were they being entertained by something or someone? Or were they just all like, give us Madonna, give us Madonna? What was happening during the 2 hours?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. Although, go ahead, Kat.
I know someone who went to one of Madonna's concerts recently, and on Facebook, she posted taking bets on when Madonna's going to show up on stage. So she has a reputation for that, which she even addresses in this response to the lawsuit. Yes, her reputation precedes her. And the same friend also in a follow-up post said, I'm going to need another day to recover from this concert.
Yeah, right. Got home at 2 a.m, not ready for work.
Exactly. Sounds like she loved it, though. She was thrilled. She didn't care about what time Madonna showed up. She just cared that she did. And it sounds like it was great.
And I admit the article was a little confusing, John, because it made it sound like Madonna's response was, I do this. But they had a typo in that.
That was confusing.
What it really was is the plaintiffs were saying that Live Nation and the Barclays Center know that Madonna doesn't go on time, appear on time. She has a history of doing that, and therefore they shouldn't have advertised her as appearing at 8:30. There's a typo in that thing that made it confusing. But I agree with you.
Yeah,
they should turn that around and say, look, we said 8:30, but you guys in your own complaint said she's late all the time.
Exactly.
Well, here's the thing, and I'm not going to try to out-lawyer the lawyer, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
If we go out to lunch and I warn you, now, Will, I'm prone to punching people in the nose.
Okay.
When I do punch you in the nose, it's not assault.
Oh,
just because you knew it was liable to happen doesn't mean, well, hey, you know what you signed up for. You know who you married, right? You know what you're getting into. No, it doesn't matter. You have the reputation for that. You still did that to these people. So just because she's prone to do that, I don't think makes her, scot-free.
Yeah. Yeah. And ultimately, I agree with you entirely. But it seemed like a strange argument to put that out there. But
but is it sue worthy? Right? Like, what are they even suing for? What, like the cost of their ticket back?
Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, what are they entitled to sue for?
Right.
Which
Right.
you're right. It would be maybe the
Yeah.
tickets, their transportation home, if they had to be late for work and lost wages because of hours. That's it. I mean, that's really that's all they could get back. I mean,
Yeah.
maybe court costs or attorney fees. They might not even be entitled to that, depending on the state and depending on the type of lawsuit you're bringing.
Extra
So,
babysitter hours.
yeah,
Whatever.
a Red Bull I had to buy at the bodega on the corner.
Yeah. Your wife found out you went to the concert with your girlfriend. That could lead to problems.
That's right. Had I been home at midnight, I would have
No one would have found out.
But because of her bladder issues, she's up at 1 a.m. going to the bathroom. So,
are you just getting home? Who's that?
Yeah.
I just say we chalk this up to the risk of going to a concert. All of this.
Yeah, definitely irritating. Not sue worthy. Yeah, not litigious. Yeah, I don't see that.
Well, you know, she's coming to Cleveland. You know, the second week of February, and or this week, February 8th, I think it is. So I checked out tickets, and first thing that shocked me was to sit fairly close wasn't as expensive as I would have thought, considering it's Madonna. And why are you laughing? It's Madonna.
Maybe at her age, she looks better from a distance. You know.
Oh, John.
I'm de-incentivizing you from sitting too close.
Well, John. Ultimately, that's one of the things I thought maybe was an issue. You're right. She's had a lot of seemingly plastic surgery. I don't know if she's copped to it or not, but the other thing is, as soon as I read this article, I was like, no, I'm not. I was ready to go. I'm not going. I wouldn't want to sit there for 2 hours. Maybe if I showed up at 10 o'clock or 10:30, but I've already got my pajama pants tucked in my socks by then.
Your hot pants are ready for bed.
Yes.
You would be so miserable. Oh,
you just wear your jumper to the concert. Take a nap in the aisle.
Right, that's true. Or a Snuggie or something.
Bring your sleeping bag. Yep.
Well, you're right, Kat. We don't know what these guys are suing for, but it turns out this isn't the first time that fans have objected to the singer being late and filed a lawsuit. In 2019, a fan sued her over a delay for a U.S. show, but they voluntarily withdraw the case, and it was dismissed a month later, according to ABC News. In that same year, Madonna had shared a post of her live on stage in which she told fans, quote, "There's something that you all need to understand, and that is that a queen is never late."
Okay then.
I think I'd sue her just for that attitude.
Can't call it late. Right. I starred some comments here in case you want to peek at what people are saying about in reaction here.
We'll say what
stuff.
Oh, do you want me to say them?
Yeah, go for
Sure.
it.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, Marcus got to a concert at 7 one night and got home from the after show the next morning at 7.
Oh my goodness.
7 p.m.
I know the backstory from that one. I know that concert.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have to hear about that.
Guessing it was a Prince concert.
Oh.
Well, duh.
Marcus loves Prince.
Highly suspect. Kathy is with Jamie Lee Curtis. Concerts should start at 3 p.m.
I hadn't heard that Jamie Lee Curtis said that.
Yeah, yep. She, I feel like maybe we talked about that one time. Yep, she feels like that concerts should match where we're at in our, our generation.
Oh, I get it. Yeah. Okay, I'm for that. Absolutely.
That's your type of concert. Well, if you like concerts, that would be the time for you to
Perfect
go.
concert for me would be afternoon in my living room. That would be great.
On the TV, pausable.
Yes, I can control the volume and skip the songs I don't like.
Right. Next.
Right.
Next. Loop. Pause. Yeah.
We also have Brandon. We also have Brandon saying that this sounds like the country music equivalent of No Show George Jones.
Does that mean George Jones just doesn't show up, or?
I guess not.
Notorious for that, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. He's a no-show, yeah.
Interestingly, Cole Meany, the actor who portrayed Miles O'Brien on Deep Space Nine, also notorious for skipping conventions that he was committed to. I almost saw him 3 times, and he didn't show to any of them.
That's terrible.
Disappointing.
And John Henderson points out that they are suing her to get back their youth when they would have been fine with a Madonna running late.
Ah, yes, I get you there. I'm not that quick on the. I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. You see, because he said they're suing to get back their youth. I immediately thought it had something to do with Madonna getting back her youth.
Oh,
which she's trying to do with the aid of medical intervention.
yes, right, yeah, yep.
All right, hey, in other 1980s news, as reported by Vulture, the trailer for Roadhouse packs a punch. All right, I did it twice. That's bad writing.
There you go.
Look, I thought we would all take a look at this trailer so we can be on the same page. So here you go. Let's see if this will work.
Here it is.
Before we start, do you have insurance?
What?
Your coverage good? Like, you have dental?
Oh, haha.
Is there a hospital nearby?
I like these
Is it,
kind
like,
of things in
far?
movies.
About like 25 minutes, I'd say.
I just slapped you. Are you all right?
What?
Yeah.
So you like to fight? You ever win?
No one ever wins a fight.
No one wins a fight.
Okay.
The humble badass.
Yeah.
This ain't the Holiday Inn, pal.
I'm moving.
A friend of mine suggested I come talk to you. I own a roadhouse out in the
ripped.
Florida Keys.
Yeah.
Lately,
Really,
it's been
really.
attracting the wrong clientele. I can pay you good money.
the bar.
Judging by your car, you need that.
Well, I like my car.
Think about it.
I know who you are. Elwood Dalton. Big fan, man.
It's about my 5th time watching this. I
You
like
just
this
take a big
trailer.
step back and pop me in the face. You can do it.
Tell me about this bouncer.
Yeah, it's all nice, like he's Mr. Rogers or something, but then he'll haul off. Really interesting guy, overall.
Rand wants to take the roadhouse away
Says,
from me.
says the guy who got his arm
He wants
broken.
to build some resort.
Oh, there's a douchebag on a
People
boat.
have a certain way of getting things done around here.
The white hat. Oh,
Oh,
Hey, fellas. Looks like you're having a smashing night. Dalton! I got a tip for you. Don't let no one get this close.
Let me guess. You know, threaten me. Tell me to get out of town.
I get the impression that you can't be threatened.
Once Knox is on the job, it's over, baby.
It takes a lot to get me angry, but when I am, I just can't let go.
McGregor makes a good bad guy.
yeah.
Yeah.
People seem a little aggressive around here.
Is that one a friend of yours?
No, I just broke his arm.
Oh, yeah.
But on Prime, not at the theater. How about that?
What is that?
Right. It goes straight to Prime.
Yeah, and there's oh gosh, I had to let me do this. Here.
Oh,
There
hey.
we go.
Oh.
No, get back in the back seat.
That's okay.
No, I
I'm
want
in good
to
company.
company.
Yeah, and there's a reason. Look, you guys made some excellent observations, and we've got some stuff in this story, in our story here about that with regard to Conor McGregor, and with regard to it being streaming. If you recall, though, in the original film, "I Want You to Be Nice Until It's Time to Not Be Nice" was the code by which James Dalton, then played by Patrick Swayze, who was at that time the bouncer with a mysterious past, said in the original 1989 film. In that version, though, Swayze's cooler attempts to keep the peace at a refurbished roadside bar, the Double Deuce, which is located, I think, in Missouri at the time. There's a set in Missouri.
Yeah.
But instead, he winds up riling the corrupt local businessman and having to deal with that noise. And by the film's end, Dalton is forced to be no longer nice, or so he probably had to argue before a jury of his peers, because confirming the rumors about him in the climactic battle, Dalton tears out the larynx.
Yes. Very good.
Nice.
Yep.
Tears out
Da-da-da. You've earned yourself a bell.
He tears out the larynx of one of the film's big bad at the end. Did you guys know that much about the old movie?
I have. It's on my. You know what?
I thought I watched it,
Okay.
and then I grabbed it to watch, and I'm like, I'm not sure I've watched it. It's one of those that everyone's watched, and I've heard about so much that I kind of thought I had,
Yeah.
but maybe I hadn't. Yeah.
I think it's definitely worth watching. Now, it's a film that it's one of those films that some people regard as so bad it's good.
Oh.
But at the time I saw it in
The
1989,
impression I had.
which I might have seen it in the theaters, but I certainly remember renting it and then watching it and re-renting it again and watching it again with my friends. it's the kind of movie that we regarded at the time so good it's good. Not that it was, bad.
Mhm.
It's as cheesy as a 1980s film gets.
Yeah.
So
Cheesy. That's the right term for it.
Awesome.
I mean, within the
Yeah.
context of it, it was amazing. It has, some terrible lines in it in hindsight, but some amazing action. And this idea of a guy who is, in their version, he was a mysterious guy. We didn't really know much about him except that he was hired to be this cooler at a a rough bar.
Mhm.
And folks were talking about this rumor that they heard he had ripped out someone's larynx and killed larynx. Mother,
One for two.
I was so close.
Got so many N's in there. Yeah.
Larynx. I gotta look at it.
Hey,
Yes.
Larynx.
Do-do-do.
2 for 3.
Larynx. Killing a
3 for
guy.
4.
So everyone's like, that can't possibly be true. You can't really tear a guy's throat out. Then, of course, in the climax of the film, he tears a dude's throat out. Now, whether he really had to, I don't know. But it's as cool a moment as Daniel and as egregious a moment as Daniel with using the crane kick at the end of the karate.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It's up there with that, I think.
Mhm.
This, however, after seeing this trailer, it had me thinking about the old film, because if anybody remembers anything about the movie, that's what they remember, right, folks in the chat? That's probably the only thing they remember is that he tore somebody's throat out. But it had me Googling whether this was possible. Now, hopefully people were just on the same page as me because they were inspired by that trailer. Because when I typed in, can you really rip out someone's throat like in Roadhouse? That returned over 800,000 results.
Oh my goodness.
And I didn't go past the first few pages, but it was people inquiring and getting responses.
Wow.
Including this one very sincere question here. How likely
Anything's
is it
possible within a force, really? Can't you? If you just try hard enough. I played Mortal Kombat.
Well, the folks that objected to the idea of being realistic was saying that the grip strength you would need to break through, and the nails you would need on your fingers to break through the skin would be the most difficult part. Crushing someone's throat, sure, that's fine. But actually tearing through the skin, this is so disgusting. And then that requires too much, But anyway.
Can we talk about the crane kick instead?
Well, one guy asked very specifically this: how likely is it that someone could rip my throat, break my neck, or otherwise lethally neutralize me with their bare hands without breaking a stride while passing me on the sidewalk if they had 10 years to practice?
Jeez.
This guy owes somebody money, and he should just pay them.
Yes. Whoa.
And that guy was like, if I see you on the street, I'm not even going to break a stride when I tear your throat out. And I've been practicing for 10 years. Or maybe I've been practicing for 9 years.
Next year.
Well, most folks said that it wasn't possible for the biological reasons I explained. There was a website that I'm not going to give out the name of that described various deadly martial arts strikes, including ripping out the throat, and another called Monkey Stealing a Peach, which was very similar.
I love that.
Oh, man.
Will's been spending time on the digital anarchist cookbook learning how to do horrible things to human beings.
Well, this one was, I had to read what Monkey Stealing a Peach was when I saw that title. And it concludes with saying, John, it reminded me of you because they describe it's ultimately getting the throat ripped out, But ultimately they say it's like, like a monkey snatching a peach after they describe what you do to the throat.
Like Jesus,
like a baby's arm holding an apple.
Anyway, regarding this forthcoming new take on the film, director Doug Liman promises a, quote, adrenaline-fueled reimagining of the 80s cult classic, end quote. And that might be okay in this instance. This time, listen, the changes they made, because Patrick Swayze played someone named James Dalton. Well, in this film, Jake Gyllenhaal plays Elwood Dalton.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a former UFC fighter, so he doesn't have a mysterious background. We know about his past somewhat, it seems. But anyway, he like in the original film, he takes a job as a bouncer, this time at a bar in the Florida Keys, and he soon discovers that Florida is filled with Floridians, I guess,
Whoops.
And that's terrifying.
Didn't expect that.
He made a bad move. And among those Floridians include a developer vying to raise the bar and build a resort that they refer to as a quote for rich assholes in the trailer there.
Oh.
Yep. That was the douchebag on a boat we called out, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
I think that it looks. Look. The other movie I said was good,
Mhm.
but this is an instance where I'm okay with a new take on it with new
Mhm.
actors.
Yeah, I was wondering what you
I
guys
feel the same
thought.
way. Yep.
And they
Okay.
exist in different worlds, and it's safe, and they're compartmentalized in my emotional space
Mhm.
inside of me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, I tell you right now, if I had them both available to watch,
Yeah.
I've seen neither. I've kind of seen the old one because of, pop culture, but I would watch the new one right now. That one looks more intriguing to me than
Mhm.
what I know of the old one some 40 odd years later. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
I'd get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, there are times I have an opportunity to watch an old movie and I'm just turned off by even just the quality of the production,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. I want to watch both of them.
Okay.
Yeah. We have
Yeah.
some reactions here from our
Ooh.
watchers. Brandon says it's the first time he's seen the trailer, and he says, "Yeah, I dig it."
Mhm.
So he's on board with us here. Nick, hi Nick. He says it looks great, but how does this match up with the original? Yeah,
That's the
that's what we've been
question.
talking
Yeah.
about. Wonder if it's going to be like another Karate Kid. And Owl says he's seen the older movie. He says it's such an awful movie, but so enjoyable to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kat, I often discourage you from watching movies. Like, I think most recently when we were recording, I said, don't watch Purple Rain. It's not necessary.
You always tell me not to watch something.
Only if they're bad. Only if they're bad.
Okay.
Roadhouse, people may tell you it's bad, but it's definitely worth watching. In fact,
It's a good kind of bad. Yeah. It's not so bad as to not watch it. It has
Right.
redeeming qualities and worth seeing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Patrick Swayze is so great and in this role
Yes.
because in reading about the production of it, it doesn't surprise me. But, a lot of it is just this mixture of backgrounds he had between, martial arts and dance, that he brought this kind of elegant and sort of, I don't know, sort of maybe elegant isn't the right word, but this kind of sophistication to this quiet, sort of lone gunman type guy
Mm-hmm.
that I don't know. He was both, Fred Astaire and Clint Eastwood. He had this kind of smoothness to him
Wow.
in maintaining
Yeah.
peace until, like he said, it's time not to be nice. And then it was very believable that he could beat somebody's ass.
Yeah.
So,
Mhm.
Philosophically, for me, looking at the two films, what I know of the old one and the new one, that's the biggest difference for me between the two that make it a very different approach. The Swayze Roadhouse, he looked like he couldn't whip your ass. And therefore, when he did, it was all the more startling.
that's
Whereas
interesting,
McGregor is clearly a badass. And so
Yeah.
it's surprising that people start stuff with him in the first place. He's not an unassuming badass, right? You know he has the capacity. Whereas Swayze's Dutton, or whatever his name, Dutton, I think.
Dalton, yeah.
Yeah, Dalton. He's just there, and people expect it. Well, he's no threat, or we could just steamroll over him, and they did until they couldn't anymore, and he snapped. So
Yeah.
it's really a totally different approach to what that hero, anti-hero, whatever he is in the sight of the other characters. So I think that's the biggest difference in my mind.
Yeah. And I actually read, I alluded to or referenced that final climactic battle between him and the big. It's really the right hand man of the main bad guy. So it's the main henchman. His I don't know what you call it, not executioner. There's a word for it, but anyway, his trigger man, I guess you'd say.
Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
They actually filmed that fight scene before they filmed anything else in the film.
Oh, really?
And when these two guys got together, and the guy who was cast as a bad guy was a guy who was a martial arts expert turned actor. And he and Patrick Swayze, just to make a long story short, just agreed they would really fight. So they had choreography, but they said, let's not hold back punches. Let's fake fight, rather punches to the face, because we have to film the rest of the movie. But otherwise, let's just go for it. And they did. And the crew members were so afraid they were really hurting each other, would pull them apart. Stop. And they would say, let us go. We're in the zone here. We know what we're doing.
Right.
In fact, there's a moment where the main henchman breaks a log over Patrick Swayze or Dalton. That wasn't planned. And he wound up cracking some of Swayze's ribs as a result. But
oh my.
anyway, two tough guys that just went for it. Anyway, you'll recall, speaking of that, though, you'll recall that on March 4th, we talked about this once before, those gathered in Las Vegas to see an actual UFC fight between John Jones and Cyril Gane became movie extras when Gyllenhaal engaged in a match, a stage match with former UFC fighter Jay Huron. The crowd that I don't think knew it was fake, you know, and these guys, much like what I just described to you about this back in the original film, they had choreography, but they just went for it, you know, really striking each other and so on. And it seems like we've seen some of that footage there in the trailer. Additionally, John noted that a real life UFC fighter, Conor McGregor, landed a role in the film, making it his acting debut. But speaking of being nice until it's time to no longer be nice, McGregor is currently facing a lawsuit in Ireland filed by a woman who alleges that he raped her in 2018. And last year, Miami prosecutors chose not to pursue charges against him over allegations he sexually assaulted another woman at an NBA game.
Whoa.
So,
hey.
So I looked up. So I had heard rumblings. In fact, I saw somebody on Twitter. Someone said the new Roadhouse trailer, and then someone rapidly said, "Yeah, with that asshole." That whatever. I'm like, what? What did he do? What did he do? So I went to his Wikipedia page, and there's a whole section about controversy or problems he's had, and I get the feeling like a guy who's that aggro just can't turn it off, and all the problems he runs into is where you know, somebody has paparazzi, you know, camera in their face, and where you would get in a car and say go away, he smacks him and crushes the phone. You know, it's just that kind of like he's, you know, Dwayne Johnson crossed over from athletics, you know, wrestling into film, but he was acting. I get the feeling that Conor McGregor, in his aggression, in his fights, none of that is an act. He is it's UFC versus wrestling, the point. But look, I don't know. Repeated accusations. Sometimes you think, well, that's the common denominator, even though none have been prosecuted. So in my mind, as much as a good bad guy he looks like, I'm kind of separating. Like, I'm not liking him as a person. I'm kind of liking him in that role right now until I decide how I feel about the guy. You know?
Right? Yeah.
He's a good bad
We'll
guy.
think that's funny.
Turns out
Why is
he's a
that
bad
funny?
guy.
Maybe. That's
but
it.
you want to root for the guy playing the bad guy. Like, I don't like the guy playing the bad guy right now, though I like the bad guy. You know, I like his persona and his appearance, and he looked formidable. He looked like somebody I wanted to go up against Gyllenhaal. I like that about it, but I'm not sure I like the guy.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think I mean, I want to watch the movie, but I don't want to be watching the movie being like, with
that baggage.
You know? Yeah.
You son of a bitch, you earned how much for this movie? You horrible person.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Karen reminds us that Sam Elliott was in the original. Oh yeah, he's great in it too. So Sam Elliott's great in everything, right?
in everything. Yeah.
And Eric asks if we have any love for Roadhouse 2 that came out in 2006. No.
Oh.
I have never seen it, Eric.
No
and
idea.
I can just answer you right now, no. But how do you see this one coming out? As John mentioned, he caught the end there. It's going to be streaming and only streaming on March 21st on Prime Video, which has Doug Liman, the director, mad enough to tear some throats out of his own. According to the director, when Amazon bought MGM, which was the studio that initially greenlit this film, it insisted that it was committed.
Monkey grabbing a melon. Just
I think it's monkey stealing a peach. Monkey stealing a peach.
well, no, I was stepping it up. I was moving it up. It was
okay.
more aggressive. It goes peach. Well, it's a cantaloupe. It's not a watermelon.
I mean, how big are Doug Liman's hands?
Small cantaloupe.
Palm on a basketball.
It's honeydew, perhaps.
All right, well, there you go. The monkey grabbing a grape.
That just tickles.
Anyway, MGM or Amazon, when they took over MGM, they swore to Liman, look, we're really committed to releasing films in theater before we stream them. But according to Liman, in an editorial that he published in Deadline, Amazon, quote, turned around and are now using Roadhouse to sell plumbing fixtures.
Wow. That's kind of hyperbole, isn't it? I mean, streaming is no longer we've talked about it's no longer the stigmatized thing. TV is not the bastard stepchild any longer. It's a viable outlet. Theatrical would be great, but
well, you know, but he makes some good points here, because he says that he feels this is his best movie, and it turns out that it's testing better than some of the other films he made that were very successful, including Mr. and Mrs. Smith and one of the Born Identity. But in additionally, he points out that a result of not having in the theater may limit how much profit, you know how these Hollywood, they cook these books, but how much profit the theaters the studio will show. And therefore anybody who has profit participation, including the cast and the crew, they may not get anything because these
Right.
streamers, they have this other type of accounting method which is part of the strike that we had recently with the writers and the actors, that may show that they don't turn any profit, and so so a lot of people are suffer as a result, including the audience, because Lyman concludes his piece in Deadline with this chilling idea. After he suggests that probably a human wasn't responsible for this decision, probably some algorithm over at Amazon said, you know what, we shouldn't put this in theaters because here's the bottom line. With regard to that, Lyman writes, quote, "But a computer doesn't know what it's like to share the experience of laughing and cheering and crying with a packed audience in a dark theater. And if Amazon has its way, future audiences won't know either." End quote.
Good point.
Yeah. I had expected to see us in theaters. I had expected to see the new Beverly Hills Cop in theaters. That's also
Me too.
only streaming.
Yes.
That does bum me out.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lyman's boycotting the premiere of the film at South by Southwest in March as a result of Amazon's decision to only stream the film.
And it's not unprecedented these days. There have been a few films that actually have gone to streaming and then they get a theatrical limited run or something. But I have to guess that's like closing the barn door after the horse is out, because the reason you go to the theater, aside from it's so damn good I've got to go and see it, is it's the only place you can see it. Yeah. Well, if it's also streaming, you really, really got to want to go for the experience then. Can you imagine if it's got to be really good? Like, what if Top Gun Maverick had been streaming only? Well, there may have been a demand for people, I want to see it in the theater. I could see that happening, but
Sure.
Yeah, but it may not be, it could be too little too late, even if they do that, expect.
Yeah. Yeah, and I guess what I don't know is the cost. Because a film like this, obviously, I guess marketing, but you're marketing it already that it's on streaming. So maybe, is it literally the production of reels? Because things are digital now. So they're really downloading into a projector.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and they profit, or they share the profits with the theater companies. And I think they get a bigger end of it. So I guess I don't understand financially what the investment is, except for maybe marketing. But again, you're marketing it already. So instead of saying at the end of that video we just watched streaming, in theaters or simultaneous, I don't know. All right. Hey, and finally, in other 1980s news, as reported by Ars Technica, which is a publication I think John probably has a subscription to. He probably still gets a hard copy of it delivered to him too. A 13-year-old kills Tetris.
Oh.
Good, that bastard.
That'll teach Tetris.
Yeah. That guy owes that other Tetris.
Like a monkey grabbing a Rubik's Cube.
There you go. Yeah. Like a monkey solving a Rubik's Cube. Hey, much like life in the 1980s, video games of that decade did not allow for winners. They only got harder until you lost.
Like life.
Yeah, it's my child right there.
Oh, John.
And so for decades,
it's more difficult until you die.
Yeah. So for decades after its 1989 release, each of the hundreds of millions of standard NES Tetris games ended the same way. A block reaches the top of the screen and triggers a game over message. That 34-year-old streak was finally broken on December 21st, 2023, when 13-year-old phenom Willis Gibson, who calls himself Blue Scooty, isn't that your nickname, Kat?
No, it's Scooch.
Oh,
Scooch.
That's right, Scooch.
Blue Scoochie.
Blue Scooty became the first human to reach the game's kill screen after a 40-minute, 1,511 line performance, crashing the game by reaching its functional limits.
Wow.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? I just realized something. Do I have this available?
Oh.
Poop. All right. Talk amongst yourselves. Let me see if I can get this loaded real quickly. Just realized I screwed something up. I knew I was going to screw something up.
Are you going to do it live? Are you going to play Tetris live for us for 40 minutes here?
Yes.
Show us?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, sweet.
Hang on, let me see if I can do this quickly here.
Okay. John, I love your hat.
Oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
This is how you're going to stall?
During
Talking about wardrobe?
Yeah, during
What
one
about
of the close-ups.
Tetris? John, did you play Tetris when you were a kid? Did you like it? It's like a softball.
It's going to be first Blue Scooty and now Will be the sequence of Tetris defeaters.
You mean Blue Scooty's going to kill me?
No, as you follow up and duplicate his achievement,
Yeah,
you do it twice as
I
fast.
wasn't going to play it. What I was going to do is I was going to remind you of Tetris, you know, give you some color. And then this was the early setup, right? Maybe on the audio version of this podcast, it'll be like perfect. And then say, so his 40 million minute. Oh, okay. Wait, do I say it here now? Oh, yeah. 1,511 line performance crashed. You know what I said earlier? Oh, we have by the way, the game gets faster and faster as you play.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Here we have a clip of him playing.
No kidding.
That was the whole run.
That's amazing.
That wasn't the whole run, but yeah.
Until just a few years, that wasn't also not a clip. Until just a few years ago, the Tetris community at large assumed it was functionally impossible for a human to get past 290 lines.
Wait, that wasn't a clip? I mean, it doesn't sound very far from that. Have you not watched the clip? It is that crazy.
I did watch it, yes.
Okay, yeah.
I didn't watch
They're coming
it.
down about at that rate.
The music doesn't speed up, though.
No, that's true. That's true.
But they look, the community. Look, the game is 40 years old, but the people in the Tetris community who know much more about it than us, as of just a few years ago, they didn't think anybody could get past 290 lines. This kid did 1,500.
Yeah,
but that's because the traditional technique of playing Tetris, the way that probably all of us here played, was limiting. It turns out to move a piece horizontally as it falls. Most Gen Xers, and certainly myself included, you just hold down left or right.
But you can tap, right? Instead,
you could tap, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
But the holding down technique, as the name suggests, because it's called the delayed auto shift method, was slow because the piece would pause and then continue moving.
Right. You would get one tick and then it would proceed. Yeah.
Yes. So that method's called DAS, delayed auto shift. That wasn't good enough to get past the 290 lines. And by the way, when you reach level 29, which is when around 290 lines, 230 lines, the game reaches its highest possible speed, which is a piece falling every 1/6 of a second.
Oh. There it is.
So when you're playing that, what you do is you don't look at the piece that's falling. What you do is you look at the next piece coming that's in the next box. You have to know where it's going. So basically, let's say you piece 1, 2, and 3. So I've already looked at piece 1 and I know where it's going to go. And so as soon as I start moving it, I'm not looking at the screen anymore. I'm looking over at piece 2 and figuring out where it's going to go later. Then I verify 1 drops in place. And as soon as 2 comes in, I'm immediately looking at 3 because I've got to figure out where it's going to fit. Yeah.
Really? That's what you do?
Yeah.
I was wondering about that, John. But then you do have to look at the screen. You just don't look at it after you start bringing in the new piece.
Not until right before you set it, right? Because you know how many taps. You see the piece, and I know, okay, that's 6 taps over. So I can look at piece 2 while I'm tapping 6 times and then look to verify that it's dropping in the right spot. Yeah. Because if I know it belongs far left, that's like a full 8 or 9 taps to get all the way to the left, that's okay. But if it needs to go not all the way, I know how many taps it is to get in the slot it needs to drop in. Yeah.
Well, if the speed and what John just said didn't make Tetris difficult enough, beginning at level 138, a byte overflow causes Tetris to load color palettes from unrelated areas of memory, creating unintended piece colors. Some of which render the, what are they called? Tetrominoes. Incredibly difficult to see. There's one called dusk and another called something else. Invisible. I don't know. They're very dark colors against the black background. And some players got that far only to be destroyed by the fact that they could hardly see the.
Oh no.
Anyway, so here's what we got. This kid that set this record right last month. These are all the things up against him. And I mentioned Daz wasn't going to help him. John mentioned tapping, which ultimately folks, created a really sort of tapping on steroids, which is hyper tapping, which is literally tapping as fast as you can with your fingers left or right, which was something that folks credit in 2011 Tetris pro Thor Ackerland using to eke out a level 30 performance. So he did beat 29 in 2011 by hyper tapping. And then by 2021, Eric ICX used this method to reach level 38, the first to do so. Well, in 2020, just a couple of years ago, another advent in gameplay. Like, again, this game is so old. How are they coming up with new things for it? I mean, that's amazing. So wonderful and amazing. But a new advent in technique to play, something called rolling. which was inspired by arcade game record holder Hector Fly Rodriguez, who uses this technique to create world records in games like track and field, if you remember, which requires you to press the buttons really quickly. What he would do is he rolls each finger over the button once on each hand and just keeps going back and forth.
Oh.
And it looks really effortless and easy to do.
Right.
But
like a speed bag does until you try it once.
It hits you in the face.
Yeah. Back. Oh, that's hard.
Yeah. So anyway, Tetris Pro Cheesefish, these guys, they all have great names, discovered a way to incorporate rolling using an NES controller. In effect, what Cheesefish did was, the button's so small, you can't do Hector's Fly's technique. They're too little. So what he did instead was put his finger over which direction he'd wanted to go, left or right, and did the rolling on the back of the controller, which forces the controller
pushes it up at him
against the finger that's on the other side.
Yeah, interesting.
Now, using this technique, Blue Scooty did what was once thought impossible. He defeated Tetris at level 157, creating another difficult to beat world record. Let's see. And there you go. End of story.
Wow.
Oh, wait a second. Hang on. This just in. 13 days after Blue Scooty's mind-bending run, world champion Tetris player Fractal set a new world record by crashing the game at level 155. All right, so it's over. He
No.
Yep.
It's going to be old news, all this level beating.
Sorry, Scooty.
But he was
out.
still first. He was still the first one to do it.
Scooty's
even
out.
though he wasn't the
Fractal's in.
fastest anymore.
Let's see. What are folks saying now, Kat, about things? Anything?
Oh,
Can't keep
well.
up?
Yes, I've been
Dale
keeping up.
said, "Tell John to shut up about Tetris." Oh, yeah. Oh, that's Marcus.
Well, Marcus said, "What the hell did he just say?" I think we know what that was about.
Of course.
I really don't know what John said. I just...
Oh, it was amazing. Brandon says the video of seeing that kid beat Tetris brought tears to his eyes. It was so
Yeah.
awesome.
Because he was so excited. He was breathless. He was, it was ecstatic.
Yeah, and at the time Blue Scooty was doing it, Fractal was trying to do it as well. And during his live stream of him trying to do it, in the comments, someone said, Blue Scooty's almost done it. So he stopped playing and switched over to watch Blue Scooty. So there's also a video of Fractal watching Blue Scooty do it and get emotional. And he gets so hyper? No. Happy. I'm gonna say happy and excited for Blue Scooty. It's really great community. It seems where folks support each other.
Sure is. Wow. Well, and Nick says we need a hero.
I'm holding out for one, Nick.
Holding out for a Tetris hero. Yeah. Karen is wondering, could it be that the new controls available on the new consoles are allowing people to do things they couldn't do before?
No.
She's only paid to play Tetris on a
You pretty
Game
well
Boy.
covered that. Yeah, that's the whole deal is that you have to use the original hardware. You can't do an emulation, and you have to use the original controller.
Yeah.
Now, any way you can use it using your body, it counts, though, because there is a guy who uses his foot as a lever of sorts when he does that rolling technique. And there are some folks who wear gloves because they say it gives them less friction when rolling as well. Fractal uses hand lotion, which you could see him pumping every now and then as he literally while he's playing, he'll squirt some more lotion on his hand.
Wow.
Don't make that noise again.
It's like you do in your ASMR. All right, let's get out of the news. Come on.
Now you have a way back at him, Will.
That was 1980s news. All right. Hey, we're getting there. We're going to give away should I show what we're giving away? Does it matter? I give it to you later. It's a couple of collectibles. Again, these guys, well, let me tell you about them. Again, they're the largest toy store in the Midwest. It's a family-owned store, right? And they have a brick-and-mortar location that has nearly 5,000 square feet of toys from the 70s, 80s, 90s, all the way to today. And they buy and sell toy collections. Now, you could visit them. They're located in Kokomo downtown district there, in just an hour north of Indianapolis. But the really great news is if you can't make it to downtown, you can still shop Kokomo online. You visit kokomotoys.com for more information. And again, and on that site, too, there's a link where you can watch the full episode of them on a toy store near you. Really great people, great store. Indianapolis is not that, or Kokomo is not that far from me. It's within several hours driving distance, but it's drivable. I'm definitely going to go check it out. But anyway, special thanks to them. They sent us a lot of stuff. But today, with the 80s bent of our particular show, we're going to be giving away two collectibles here. This is the Funko. John knows more about these things than I do. the Funko from the Funko vinyl collection. It is the 11 and Barb.
Barb.
11 and Barb.
Look at that.
We found Barb finally.
There she is. She's in that box
she
the whole
is.
time.
She still looks alive there too.
Oh, phew.
You know, they just started filming again season 5 just a few weeks ago. And I've got to say, though, there's these recent pictures of Millie Bobby Brown from another film she's in right now. She looks so much older than she did.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm buying it. And the others do too as well.
Did you see her in the Damsel trailer? Is that what you saw?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
Like a young woman. Yeah.
Yes.
She's not 11. How do you make her 11? I mean,
Yeah.
I think
her
she's in
hair?
her early 20s now, right?
De-ager? Yeah, she is. Yeah. It's taking a while.
And also, we're going to throw in another Stranger Things vinyl collectible here again from Funko. This is the, I don't know what this says, John. Derbs? This is another 11, a different.
Dorbs. Like adorable?
Dorbs, like adorable.
Dorbs.
Okay, dorbs.
Yeah.
Okay, just like
They're
the kids
dorbs.
say. This is another Funko. This one, different version of 11 here.
Wow.
There you go. So if you're a fan of the 1980s, fan of Stranger Things, we're going to give those away. And all you got to do is put a hashtag in the comments when we tell you to do that. In fact, I'll need one of you guys to stall because that's another thing that I don't have.
Oh, I could talk about John's wardrobe some more.
Yeah. Talk about my hat some more.
Kat, I gave you some constructive notes. Like, why wouldn't you use the constructive note?
Right. So you go, John, what's the difference between these vinyls and these Dorbs anyway? Why so many lines? Or speaking of pop vinyls, you have quite a collection, right? ... I mean, there's so many opportunities.
Yeah, I'm trying to groom you to take over the show when I retire. I didn't want to say it out loud, but there, that's what's happening.
That would go
All right,
off.
so
the
Is that why you
rails.
have me
So now-
rewriting your teases impromptu?
Yes. All right. Let's get to it. People are getting sick of the show already. I need to.
We put Kathy to sleep.
All right. Hey, we're going to be talking about crushes today.
Yes.
And of course, as always, as this last time, I want to mention special thanks to our producer, Marcus Taylor, who helped
Yay.
research and write our segment on crushes today. So look, you know how I am. I can't just do a list or ask you for your opinions about things. I've got to know stuff and share it.
Mostly because he doesn't care about our opinions, but
Yeah.
also
Well,
because
yes.
he likes to know
He
things.
likes to hear
That's
himself
true.
talk.
Now,
Yeah.
I do care about your opinions when I put you on the screen by yourself because that gives me a chance to drink water without you guys making fun of me.
I realized that
making
was my
sound
dance.
effects.
Yeah. When you had John up, I was
You
like,
need a chance to drink water,
I'm gonna
Kat?
get a
Ready?
drink.
Let's
Yeah.
go. Drink some water. Here
Ready,
we go.
set.
And chug, chug,
So,
chug.
John,
chug,
what's the
chug,
difference
chug.
between those collectibles?
Oh, well, you have to look at which one's coming next and never look at the screen because you have to find out how far you have to drop.
All right, nobody cares. I don't even know what you said. Oh, we caught Kat drinking water. All right, so hey, look, you might think because I did think this. You might think that crushes like acne only erupt during puberty, but in fact,
No.
crushes like let's say like bedwetting
Oh,
can break out as early as 5 or 6 years old.
There are at least 3 things you could have said worse, so I'm happy you said bedwetting.
yes.
John, what do you got?
No.
Okay.
No.
I did have another one, John. I did have another one that I wouldn't say.
Okay.
I mean, might be on
That's
the same
good.
page.
Just keep that one.
All right. Anyway, and it's good that they start so early because the first crush is actually considered to be a developmental milestone. And I really didn't know why. Like, what's the importance of crushes? Because, ultimately when we start having romantic interests, it's for a particular purpose. Well, I'll get to that in a moment. But what's the purpose of a crush? Well, it turns out it's the first step towards an eventual separation from your immediate family. And if handled well, it can be the beginning of talking with children about relationships. Although if handled poorly, however, a child may grow up to be an objectophile and have sex with their Camaro.
Oh.
That's a real thing. Look it up.
Okay.
Or the Eiffel Tower. These are real examples of objectophilia. Anyway, while feeling
Or that new Dune 2 popcorn bucket.
Wait, what?
Popcorn bucket.
Wait, I missed something, John. Are you making love to a Dune popcorn bucket?
No, I just have a look right now. If you're listening, pause,
I am
go
listening.
Google Dune 2 AMC popcorn bucket, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, John, I didn't even have to type the whole thing.
And here comes the picture.
I'm trying to see here.
Can you put it up?
I don't see it yet. I just see it's going viral. Okay, here we go for a joke. All right, some joke that's not safe for work.
Uh-oh.
That's the one.
It's taking a while to load here.
Oh.
Oh, and then it didn't even bring me to the story.
It's worth the wait.
Oh, wait, here it goes. All right, let's see. Dune 2. Hey, this is a 1982 special. Because Dune originally came out in 1984. All right, so Dune, the remake, Dune Part 2, is going viral for its sandworm replica popcorn bucket that some joke, that some joke is not safe for work. All right, let's see this bucket. Where is it here? Oh my God! That's
finally saw
hang
it.
on, let me
You
share
finally
this.
saw
Yeah,
it.
this is
Whoa.
It's not that this isn't safe for work. I have a whole other issue with this.
It's not safe for John's imagination.
Objectophilia.
Let me see. Yeah, no. Hang on, let me share this here.
Oh man.
How do I share this? How do I share this in this day and
It's a
age? That's
delight.
not it.
Oh, doo-doo-doo.
Why is it not on there? Oh, there it is. Okay, there we
Oh,
go.
there it
There we
is.
go. There we
All
go.
right.
Oh.
So all right. So what's the joke here, John? Let's see.
Oh.
6 pumps. Here's people's response to this photo on Twitter.
Mhm.
6 pumps of butter. Hold the popcorn. Oh, this reminds me of when we talked about this kind of thing.
No.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Yeah. There we go. Let's do it again. Yeah. Other folks said, someone said, just hear me out for a moment. Someone's getting fired. Someone said, I mean, from the side, great, but when you see it from another angle, this is going to be a high demand popcorn bucket. Oh my God. I gotta say though, this is a thing that you know, that center thing there, the mouth of the sandworm
Center
the
thing
maw.
there.
it's triggering my tryptophobia. You know, it's that pattern, repeating pattern kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's all ribbed for someone's pleasure. I noticed.
I don't care for it. Don't care for it at all. All right.
There's-
Anyway,
there's
let's
a
talk about
for this.
speaking of crushes. I mean,
Speaking of popcorn buckets.
speaking of yeah. All right. So objective feel, and I see what you're saying, John. Okay, I got you, and I'm with you.
Yes. So
Anyway,
now it all makes sense. Full circle.
Okay,
Now
so
you know
look,
what
we're
I'm talking about.
crushes here, and while it's a feeling, that thing is horrifying. While feeling an overwhelming longing to finger paint with little Sally or share your paste with little Stevie, and I don't mean little Steven, the guitarist from E Street Band. I mean like a little kid. You might feel it's easy to think of examples probably when you're early in age you felt affection towards actual people in your life. But some of us, our earliest crushes, including mine, were on fictional characters, which we're talking about. And it turns out this is not unusual because at an early age, we don't differentiate between fictional characters and real people.
Right.
I was sure Batman was real, Superman was real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
We had the discussion about your Indiana Jones epiphany. They're like, oh, that's not a real guy. We talked about, because your hero worship, right?
Right. Yes. Yeah. Harrison Ford, Christopher Reeve. Yeah. Well, according to a 1987 study from the Journal of Broadcasting and Electronic Media, people form one-sided or parasocial relationships, which I thought meant you fell in love with a ghost, by the way. But a parasocial relationship with those on film and TV, the same way they form social relationships with others off screen. And the study found that, as with any crush, we're first drawn to fictional characters because of their personality, their character traits, their skills, their abilities. And it's that one-sidedness with crushes in general that allows us to interpret these relationships however we wish. In the according to the 1956 psychiatry study that introduced the concept of parasocial relationships, fictional characters can become substitutes for what we want from real people. They represent our ideal partner, which may include physical or mental attributes. And I wanted to know about that because when we get to mine in a second, I really wasn't sure mine is mental necessarily.
And before you said about the separation of yourself from family, I had an idea, but didn't want to jump in and ruin your research, which was, I think, well, the other really important thing I believe probably crushes do, especially when you're quite young, is when you're a kid, initially, like the world doesn't extend beyond your reach. You are the center of the universe, and you don't, a baby doesn't have empathy or can't kind of feel what other people are feeling or anything like that. And so probably when you start to find someone on whom you can project your affection, you're starting to realize that, well, that person is the other. It's not me. It's another entity outside of myself. So you start to expand that bubble and realize that people exist when you're not there, and they can also be important.
That stuff actually starts a whole lot earlier than you might think, John.
Does it? Really? Okay.
Yeah, the development of empathy and the I could go on and on.
Honestly,
but I won't.
yeah, John was fucking a popcorn bucket at 2.
Started early.
This is an adult show. Did I mention that?
Sorry. No butter, dry bucket.
Oh gosh, little Johnny, wait! We gotta teach you about something. It's not wrong what you're doing. You're gonna get that bucket.
Are there so many T-shirt opportunities? Will, what are you doing?
Yes,
Get on it.
I was silk screening. That's where I went. Sorry, Kat. What were you saying, Kat?
I was trying to point out that differentiation from other starts a lot earlier. But
Yeah.
other things do too, apparently.
All right. Hey, let's get to some crushes. I'll tell you more about this stuff in a moment here.
Please do.
All right. Kat, since I really interrupt you, why don't you tell us about one of your crushes? Now, let's keep in mind when we talk about these, and we'll share some from folks from the comments today and some of them shared on Facebook and social media. Keep in mind, these crushes often represent our idealized partner. There's attributes that they have that we ultimately may long for in actual relationships going down the line. So, Kat, hit us up with one of your crushes.
Oh,
okay. Well, I'm going to give you the one that I'm not embarrassed about.
No?
Far as those criteria.
Wait, why? Why? How is that helpful?
This is an entertainment show, Kat. Start with the most embarrassing first.
Yeah.
Or they'll tune out.
Get to any others. I don't
Most
know.
embarrassing?
Over an
Okay.
hour.
All right. I'll start with the most.
Okay.
Bo Duke.
Oh.
That's not how is that embarrassing?
Yeah.
Because you're talking about, they're what did you say? They're a model for qualities that we want. And
what's wrong with Bo? Well, why do you think he doesn't
Well-
have proper qualities? I mean, other than go ahead.
We're not thinking unless you're talking about the present day actor.
That's what I was about
John
to say, but
Schneider.
let's leave that alone. Yeah.
That is conflated in my mind.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, actually, for him, I think I can safely say I just thought he was cute. He had more of a physical appeal to me, and I was pretty young. I was 8 or 9 years old, and and I'm going to tell you my second crush that I have on my little list here, Luke Skywalker.
Oh.
So, but before I say anything about Luke, I'm going to say I wished that Bo was actually Luke. Like I wished I admired Bo, but I wanted him to be named Luke because I loved the name Luke because I loved Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
So I remember that as a kid being really annoyed that Bo was Bo and that Bo was not named Luke. So there's that bit of bizarreness, but I think Luke Skywalker is he's probably pretty easy to identify as someone that we could he was relatable.
So at what age do you think? I mean, we could draw
right
some,
away.
extrapolate some years.
When did
as
that
soon
come
as you
out?
saw,
I was 7.
whenever. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All
As
right.
soon as I saw Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it was probably it was pre any kind of like physical attraction. You might, like you said, he was cute. You wanted to be in his presence, or you wanted him to notice you or acknowledge you somehow.
Sure.
That's probably where crushes, kind of early crushes, like see me, Mom, look what I'm doing. You want someone else to look at you and see you and recognize you.
Yeah.
Tell you you're special and pretty.
Oh. Absolutely.
So what you're saying, Kat, is you think now, years later, that you're trying to intellectualize these feelings you had, that it mostly was based on their appearances.
Bo, definitely. His was, it was fun too. It was
You could fill out a pair of jeans. No doubt. John Schneider. Yeah.
I liked his blonde hair.
You did 2 blondes. You mentioned 2 blonde guys.
I did mention 2 blondes, which is funny, but
type.
at that age I had a type. And then
they're both, I should point out, Luke Skywalker and Bo, both rebels.
Yeah. I guess you could
both going against the established law there.
And they both hopped over, like they jump into their conveyances. That was pretty exciting, right?
Oh yeah, he does do that. Does he do that with the land speeder?
Oh,
Be it a Charger or a land speeder.
No kidding. No kidding. These aren't the moonshiners you're looking for.
Goot, goot, goot,
Good, good.
said the stormtrooper. Goot, goot, he said.
Kathy in the comments says she would still marry Mark Hamill.
Oh, yes. And who? Oh, Lisa. Oh, Lisa's here. Oh, Lisa fell in love with Luke Skywalker from a Star Wars comic book. Wow.
Oh.
Before even seeing the movie?
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
Just from his personality. I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah. So for Luke Skywalker, it was more the full package, not just.
What about his package? I didn't.
Wait, what?
I'm taking a drink here. You can't start talking about Luke Skywalker's package while I'm taking a sip of Kool-Aid. Goodness gracious. That boy can fill out a tunic.
Yeah. And the lightsaber.
And let's talk about lightsabers.
The hands come up. Hang on. Just wait. Honey, just hang on a second, honey. Hang on. I swear this has never happened before. Hold on. All right.
You succeeded.
All right. Hey, John, you got one?
Yeah. Let's hear it.
I have a few, and so interestingly, two that I kind of lumped together because the crush I had on them was not my crush. It was my dad's crush. So my dad, interestingly, Daisy Duke was one of them, Catherine Bach.
Oh, yeah.
And I was too young to probably be attracted to Daisy Duke, but I was attracted to her because my dad was like, Daisy Duke, here she is. You know, it was something to see. It was a reason that he was watching.
Your dad's like, John, leave the room. Everybody clear out.
Leave the room. Bring me my bucket. And the other one, similarly, was Linda Carter as Wonder Woman. I also had a huge crush on her. Now, it's obvious the reasons that my dad had a crush on Linda Carter, but I had hero worship for her. She was a superhero. She was awesome. That's why I had this crush on her. But I inherited this secondhand crush from my dad, who very much enjoyed those two women on television. Now, he was a bit older than developmental stage, like we're talking about. But I kind of inherited those two crushes, and I still have a fond memory of watching those shows and feeling an attachment. You know, it's like something beyond like, yeah, I'm watching Wonder Woman, but I'm like, no, but I'm watching her because I really like her, or something about her. You know, I later learned why my dad really liked Linda Carter, and I get it. But I think I liked it all, both of those characters on their own, but liked them more because of my dad's impression of those characters. It kind of bled over to me.
Oh yeah, you felt more connected to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kyle says Linda Carter could twirl. Boy, could she,
Yep.
You know, you remind me, because I had a crush on Linda Carter too.
Okay.
But I think obviously I was much younger than your dad and closer to you in age. But I realize, and I know you're making these allusions to the fact that, you know, she's a very attractive woman who really filled out that uniform. And I think, to me, and at this age when we're talking about where it's prepubescent, so, you know, we don't have the drives that ultimately motivate us to find relationships later in our lives.
Go ahead. I have a thought. Don't forget, I have a thought.
For me, it was this, I think for me, I really do feel like at the time there was this mixture of, obviously I knew she was attractive, but at the same time, it was like a maternal thing, which now this sounds like I need to talk to a psychologist, some kind of Freudian thing. But that she, but you know what? I don't even want to go down this path. It had something to do with obviously her bosoms and motherhood, and there's probably something that plays on a young person that I don't know, makes you thirsty.
Yeah.
All right, I'm backing out of this whole thing.
But the thought that I had was that it occurred to me, I actually was more fond of Linda Carter when it was Diana Prince. I liked.
Oh, that's interesting.
The Wonder Woman was great, but something about it almost felt too much for me. I'm like, oh, there's too much being bared. There's too much. Like, I didn't know what my sexuality was, and so I'm like, I don't get this. Some people like this. I don't understand it. But as Diana Prince, I'm like, it's the same person. I can feel the same way about you, but I don't have that over sexualized feeling. It's just maybe it's that maternal thing that you were saying. I don't know what it is, but that's what you made me think of when you said the different kind of approach to it. And like I hadn't thought of that until just now. That like, yeah, I was much more comfortable when she was incognito because I knew who she could be, but she's not doing it right now. Yeah.
That's fascinating to me because I'll tell you who my crush is. In fact, I'm going to show you a picture here. This is one of my earliest crushes here.
Oh,
It's
yes.
Batgirl.
Yes.
As played by Yvonne Craig in the 1966 Batman TV show.
Sure.
And I was considering this. I was in love with Batgirl. I was not in love with Barbara Gordon. Now, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like you said, because she has an alter ego, and both of their alter egos are these intelligent women. You know, and you know, the whole thing. But I was the opposite.
The librarian glasses. Yeah.
Oh, the glasses.
Are those sexy? I hadn't heard that. But the thing about for me was, and I know who she could become. I don't know. There was just something about, you know, her in the other form. It's just complete opposite of what you say.
Huh.
And maybe it had to do with my infatuation with superheroes just generally, you know. I mean, I probably had a bromance or, you know, a man crush on, you know, Batman and Robin and Superman and those characters as well.
Speaking of Robin, he was another crush of mine.
Is that right?
Loved Robin, yeah.
I'm not
Now that you're talking like the Burt Ward Robin or just Robin as a character in general?
Well, you could say character in general, but the Burt Ward in particular was the one that I knew was my introduction to Robin.
Does that since you say it was just Robin generally, does that mean it began like maybe even Super Friends era?
Sure, absolutely. You know what? I can't really point to when it started. But
what is it, Casey Kasem's voice, right?
Yes.
Wait, was Shaggy also a crush?
No,
Okay.
I did not have a crush on Shaggy.
Okay.
No.
Right,
I did like Casey Kasem, though. I didn't have a crush on Casey Kasem, but I enjoyed his voice. Yeah.
See, Brad writes, I thought we were going to talk about how hot Pinky Tuscadero was and not the Hellraiser sex bucket.
Well, first it's Dune 2. Get it straight.
Yeah, right. If you're going to order it, Brad, you're going to need to know.
Yeah, you need to know.
Let's see. Owl says, as far as crushes go, Wilma Deering from Buck Rogers. Yep. Jody Banks from Fall Guy. I had that poster. Julie Newmar's Catwoman and Athena from Battlestar Galactica. Kyle, Spider-Man and his amazing friends. Firestar, yes. Okay, I get you there. Wonder Woman on Justice League. Madonna when she was 40 years from Social Security. Not two. Yeah. And Tawny Katane. Yeah.
Who's Tawny Katane?
Well, she's not fictional.
No, that's true. Yeah. Well, I guess if you consider it a music video, maybe she's a character. Tawny Katane appeared in the White Snake music videos. I think she was also dating what's his name, David Coverdale at the time.
Okay.
She recently passed away within just the last few years. Brad says also he had a crush on a female ghost in Disney's Child of Glass that should have been a signal for therapy.
Oh, wow.
I don't even know what that is. Child of Glass.
I'm not sure either. Gotta check it out.
Karen, Michael J. Fox. He's not fictional either, but he played many characters that I'm sure were charming.
Yeah, I wonder which one was her crush. Yeah. Maybe all of them.
And she apologizes also for still having a crush on Kirk Cameron and Ricky Schroeder. That's kind of like your John Schneider thing, Kat.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So I have a question for you, Will. So one of the others that I have on my list that is further down on my list, but I think it could be an interesting question because it's kind of like this time-tested thing, like you pick, you know, Marianne or Ginger kind of thing, right? Those kind of like dichotomies, like which of these. So one of the childhood crushes on my list is a character from The Facts of Life.
Okay.
Oh.
I was going to ask, did you have a crush on any characters on The Facts of Life? Yes or no? And what do you think about that?
Yeah.
Do you know which one I had a crush on?
Oh, this is a game. I love this game. This is a great game. All right.
So
let's see. Do we have any music for this? I guess we don't.
I don't remember all their names.
Once again, it's time to play.
I have a guess.
What?
Oh, same one.
What's that?
Same one as Kimberly is guessing in the comments.
Okay.
Joe?
There's all kinds of people.
Well,
we're
going to let everybody guess. Yeah. I was leaning towards Joe also. And the reason why is because John wouldn't have made a game out of it if it wasn't obvious.
Well,
Joe
I mean,
is-
it might be Mrs. Garrett. You don't know.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, wait a second. It also might be someone who was a star in it in prior seasons, like Molly Ringwald, who was on it early on.
Yeah.
Could
You got,
also be frequent
what do
guest
you got?
star.
You got Joe,
Jerry, the comedian
Natalie,
who
else? Tootsie, Blair, Miss Garrett,
Blair, right?
and then who did Molly play? So you got 6 or 7 you could pick from in there. Yeah.
I'm going to go with Joe also. What do you think, Kat?
I think Joe. Yep.
All right, John. How did we do?
Winner. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah. Yeah. From the time she drove her motorcycle in and parked on Mrs. Garrett's flowers and walked in and they thought she was a boy, she just bucked the rules and didn't give a shit. I love that about her. I don't think it was any kind of physical attraction, although she's a very lovely young lady. She hid it, trying to be very tomboyish in the show. I loved her character, her personality.
Yeah.
Like if she wasn't on the screen, I was waiting until she came on the screen when I was watching Facts Alive.
Yeah, you were tuned out.
Yeah, I thought it was Joe because of what you said about Linda Carter, that you preferred her, or Dinah Prince, her alter ego, instead of her true identity as Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. All right, what else about this? You have any other interesting ones? My other one that I wanted to mention, and because look, I told you about Batgirl, and I think, well, I didn't say why I thought I was attracted to her, I guess, because I think a lot of my things were a combination of the personality and just primal things that I didn't understand yet. And for Batgirl, quite honestly, again, I liked female characters that could kick butt and that were smart, and that was Batgirl. But I have to, and that was also consistent with Wonder Woman as well. But I do think it's because of how they filled out their costumes, quite honestly. And I'm not going to lie. I'm always honest with you guys.
Yeah.
Yvonne Craig in that Batgirl suit, I mean, that hourglass shape just triggers some kind of thing that you don't know why. And as a young person, you just have these amorous feelings, not, and not primal feelings or, go beyond that. But my other crush, which is what for me that I'm trying to figure out, is there some sort of pattern? And there's only a very superficial pattern.
Oh, I love
I've
this.
told you guys this before. Is Daphne from Scooby-Doo?
Yeah. Okay.
Now look, again, she's part of this solving group. Now, occasionally she was a damsel in distress, and I didn't seem to mind that when I was a kid because I had this fantasy of being like the Fred that would help save her, And when and quite honestly, and I remember this very vividly. And this must be another DNA, just thinking 10,000 years of, human evolution or something, is that when she was in need of help, there was something that triggered in me, like a longing to want to save her.
Wow. Yeah. Be
I
protected.
can see you with an ascot. You could pull that off.
I just like that one year. And I actually had the blonde wig a couple of Halloweens ago. And I had a blonde wig too, but with my complexion and my dark eyebrows, I looked like I don't know. And with my eyes, I honestly I don't want to say what I looked like. I've already brought our show over too.
All right, Chester.
But the Daphne thing and the Batgirl thing, the only thing I can think in common, aside from the attributes I just described, is they both had red hair and wore purple.
Right on.
Am I as simple as that? And for some reason, Kat, and I'll say this to Kat because she's a redhead as well. All of the redhead women I've ever known in my life like purple.
Oh my gosh, what is that about? Because it is my favorite color.
Will, have you ever read the comic book Red Sonja?
I have not, although I have seen Red
You
Sonja.
should.
Yeah.
Oh.
You mean
anyone
read the
should.
comic book?
you should. Yeah. Yeah. You remind me, there are a couple more. One really that is really worth discussing, and the last one is one you already know because the crush is unchanged decades later. But one that I remember very vividly is the character of Isabeau from Lady Hawk.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right.
You know the film? So it's Rutger Hauer and Michelle Pfeiffer. And basically they're lovers who were cursed, and he is a wolf by night and a man by day, and she is a hawk by day and a wolf and a bird by night, whatever, and a woman. Anyway, they only see each other when the sun comes up and down for a moment. But first it's Michelle Pfeiffer, gorgeous, but also she was. It was the unobtainable. It was the fact that this hero would dedicate his entire life just to spend moments with her when the sun came up and down. Just made her more like, well, if Rutger Hauer spends his entire life fawning after her, it fed into what and And I didn't necessarily have a thing for Michelle Pfeiffer before that. As attractive as she is, she's not my type, if there's such a thing. Not like Luke Skywalker for Kat, but in that role, particularly as a fictional character, I found her to be fascinating, and probably I'd call it a crush, I would expect.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. That. Yep.
Yeah.
Huh. But how'd you feel about her when she was a hawk?
Less attracted?
Less?
A bit, yeah.
I'm just checking.
Okay. Yeah.
Squawk.
All right, let's. So look, I guess in wrapping this up, and then we'll share. We'll share some folks' comments from social media.
Oh, I have a lot
Marcus says you have a lot of what?
of comments from social media. I shared this
you-
post, and holy cow!
You got them too.
Oh, all right.
Well, okay. All right, cool. Marcus says, "Love me a redhead in purple."
There you go.
You guys
Well,
can,
look. So it turns out, I guess the thing.
Prince with a wig for Marcus.
I guess trying to make this seem smart, just to serve my own purposes. So I feel like our show is just not us talking about, having sex with a popcorn bucket. To rise out of that,
It's not just that.
no, it's a Pareto rule, 80-20, right? So it turns out at 6 years old, that crush you had on Fonzie or Pinky Tuscadero for that matter, very similar characters. It wasn't abnormal. It was our burgeoning social radar honing in
By
on a
Pinky
character who
Tuscadero.
embodied coolness, confidence, and perhaps the rebellious streak you admired. And the thing that we've been touching upon, no pun intended, was that as we entered our teen years, obviously, chemically things change, and our hormones, start to rewire our brains for more personal, social and emotional connections, and whether we know it or not, reproduction. I mean, right? I mean, that's what we're.
Yes.
That's the drive.
That's what we're wired for, right?
Yeah, you may never reproduce. Or you may be attracted to someone of the same sex, and therefore you can't biologically. But the drive is there.
Yes.
Yes. Anyway, and all of a sudden, the fictional heartthrobs become more than just cool characters; they become objects of desire. And I think I had that experience too, as I got older, and people I was interested in changed.
That's when you want Diana Prince to spin around.
Wait, is she continuing to spin, John, or she spin just 180 degrees?
Oh no.
I was just clarifying.
Oh.
Anyway, but even as we get older, we're still drawn to, characters who are going to embody the qualities that ultimately we're going to search for potential partners. You think about, as you get older, Molly Ringwald, her rebellious charm in 16 Candles, or Michael J. Fox's, that boyish swagger he had in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
But it turns out that our crushes, and certainly they weren't solely fueled by just a hormonal cocktail as we got older. They also shaped, and they also weren't just necessarily becoming vessels for these people that ultimately we would seek out in our lives. They also shaped our own evolving identities, because the fictional characters also serve somewhat of as a mirror, reflecting idealized versions of who we want to be. So therefore drawn to, maybe John wanted to be able to, transmogrify, or that's not the word. He wanted to be able to be an animal during the day. Or maybe
I am.
Maybe you aspire to, have a Ferris Bueller's carefree, rebellion. Anyway, in some sense, these crushes allowed us to test drive different selves, explore our own personalities, and so on and so forth. All right, so there you go.
Maybe I really wanted to be able to leap into a vehicle.
Yeah, Kat, you got to do that
That's
hood
right.
slide.
Yeah.
I really want you to weld my doors shut.
Oh.
Kathy says, Daphne, it's the boots. Karen's added Vinnie Barbarino. Owl says Josie from the Pussycats. Yes, Josie for me too. Also,
Vinnie Barbarino.
Oh yeah.
Will, have you purchased a purple cat suit for your wife as a gift?
No, I haven't. Let me think.
Okay. I was going to say you don't have to answer, but
my wife does love purple.
Ah,
That's one thing though.
It was a prerequisite.
Yeah.
Rightfully so.
It was in the prenup. Do you like purple? All right, moving forward.
Yes,
Item
right, there
2.
you go.
Will you wear purple occasionally?
Item 3.
All right. So there you go with that. So yeah, we asked folks on social media who their crushes were, and Kat, we're going to skip over anybody who's been live with us today that may have shared anybody. Right?
Sure. Yeah. Well, there's what was that? Wilma. Well, wait, I don't know. I scribbled this out.
Ready? Are you ready? You just scribbled it down. I have the.
Well, I didn't print anything out, but who's the character from Buck Rogers? Wilma, what?
You're doing this from memory?
No, I have it written in front of me.
If it's written, read what you wrote.
I was writing too fast. What's the character's name? Wilma what?
John, she made notes, but you can't read them.
Flintstone?
No, isn't she from the book? Is it
just
Buck
say
Rogers?
Wilma then and move on?
Okay.
Is it Wilma Deering?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
like that. I figured you guys would
Wilma
know.
Deering.
Okay. Well, yeah, she was a popular mention. Dan and Don and George all were in her favor. Oh, Kira, the muse from Xanadu.
Oh, that's
interesting.
Frank on my chair.
That's
that was
telling.
his first crush. Yeah.
Says something.
We have a Nicholas Bradford and Tommy Bradford from Eight Is Enough.
Mm-hmm.
The brothers there.
Oh, interesting.
Sarah
Okay.
and Kate were fond of them, respectively. Maverick, or whatever his real, his character's name was in Top Gun, Tom Cruise's character, by a Karen. And
Wait,
also
by a Karen or someone named
a
Karen?
friend Karen, a friend Karen.
Some Karen likes, as Karens do.
Oh no!
Oh, I can take a drink because you're full screen.
Yeah. Oh no!
Oh no! Quick, talk about Luke's package.
All right, that was great. Thanks, Kat.
Really?
I'm just gonna tear through some here. All right.
I was trying
that was so sincere. Okay,
let me show
Thanks
you.
for that.
I'll show you how I
Kat.
tear through it here. Pink Pepper Tulip says Ricky Schroeder on Silver Spoons. Warrior Goof says Barbara Eden, I Dream of Jeannie. Yeah, that's a good one. And Harper Valley. Mr. Throwback Thursday says
More so.
either Christy McNichol. He names real people. Christy McNichol or Valerie Bertinelli. Suzanne Hall says definitely Leaf Garrett. It was also her first concert. Carolyn says my first crush was Speed Racer.
Oh,
There we go. There's a fictional character. It's the car. It's the cool car. Chicks dig the car.
We got another vote for Buck Rogers characters, including every female that was on there, because Tom just includes a photo of them.
Oh,
It says it was a battle between good and bad.
Oh,
And Hawkman. Perhaps Hawkman was the list.
Lauren, Wonder Woman, Chad, Kim Richards, and Heather Thomas, Bill, Brooke Shields, and Lisa Welchel, who was on Facts of Life.
Yeah, she was.
Andrew says Vicky Stubing, the captain's daughter on Love Boat.
Oh,
yeah.
And Brandon, who's with us here in the chat, wow, he provided us a list and says it's a pleasant rabbit hole to jump into.
Oh.
And then he says he's a fan of Jessica Rabbit.
Speaking of rabbit holes.
That's a little what he wrote. Speaking of rabbit holes.
It's like a pleasant popcorn bucket to jump into.
He also includes Leah Thompson and Howard the Duck and Christine Applegate and Kelly Bundy and Sheila.
Oh, that's creepy. It's kind of creepy.
Yeah, there you go. I'm sure there's others too. You got any others, Kat?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. You do?
I do. Joe also has another fan, and our listener Lucy. Joe from Facts of Life.
Facts of Life, sure.
That character. Also an obscure one. This was obscure for me. Jeffrey Jones from a show called Voyagers. Is that familiar to you at all?
Voyagers?
Lynn.
Yeah,
Lynn
that
on
was
Facebook had a big crush on
what's
him.
his name? It was the guy who passed away. Who got
Oh, there's just one of those. That'll be easy.
Eric Hexum. Wasn't that Eric Hexum's character?
No, it's a young.
It was
little curly headed kid.
Yeah, that was Phineas. Phineas is John Eric Hexum. It was
Mino
Palouse. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there it is.
There you go.
Right,
Okay.
Yeah,
We got there.
I didn't write that part down. Yeah.
That was a cool show. Got canceled too soon.
It sounds like it was pretty short run. Yeah.
Yeah, and then John Eric Hexum was on another show and accidentally killed himself.
Oh.
So there you go. On that note, have a good day, everybody. All right, Kat, that's plenty. Let's get the show over with here. All right, we got to give away a prize, and then we're going to end the show. All right, here, folks who are still with us, in spite of that interminable list, here's how you play. Look, we're going to give away again. We've got two. We're going to give these. I'm going to give both of these to one person. Join us on the future. I'm going to give both these away to one person. Okay,
that's how you make shipping cheaper. Yes.
There you go. That's working on the budget. Now we got to get a sponsor for shipping. Does the U.S. Post Office
I
sponsor?
was going to say, have you talked to the
podcast?
post office?
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Anyway, we're going to give away both of these amazing Funko Pops collectibles, Stranger Thing themed, courtesy of Kokomo Toys. And here is how you play. In the comments right now, just put hashtag Kokomo. Hashtag Kokomo. And if you
All
don't know how to spell
uppercase,
Kokomo, it's
all lowercase.
it doesn't matter. It's
capital K,
case
don't care.
insensitive.
All right.
He's
Standard hashtag rules.
M-O. All right, we'll give you a moment to do that. And then all we got to do is essentially spin a wheel of sorts. And that's it. Yeah.
I'm singing
Let's
Kokomo.
see.
Mhm.
Anybody trying to win this? I don't know. Here we go. Oh, there we
Yes,
go.
Oh, yeah.
people are trying
I
to
had,
win.
I had the wrong screen up. All right, there
They're
you go.
coming. Oh,
We're
somebody
trying
named
to
win.
Crazy
The light,
Wonder
too.
is trying to win
Oh,
it.
look, Brad Bowman came out of the woodwork
Oh,
when it's
yeah.
time to
Oh,
win
yeah.
a prize.
That's
Right.
hanging out. Oh, yeah,
Oh,
lurking.
buddy.
He was lurking, waiting for the prize.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, now I'm here.
You got that name of that popcorn bucket, and then he dipped out.
He had to drive up to AMC.
He's I'm here for the. We know why you're here. Get out. We can tell.
The movie's not released yet. So
We know.
is there a list? Got to get on a list.
I know there's some kind of way we could tie this to our talk about Kat's husband and glasses and popcorn buckets from that episode a few episodes ago.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all I could think of was the popcorn buckets.
No, Marcus, we're not giving away the popcorn bucket. Although maybe we should. That would be something.
No,
We're giving away these collectibles.
we're keeping
courtesy
that.
of Kokomo Toys and Collectibles, kokomotoys.com. Funko, they're not called, these aren't called Pops. Turns out Funko makes a whole
That's
different variety of the different vinyl toys,
Yeah.
or collectibles rather, and one with 11 and Barb, and one with just 11, the Dorbs want version. All right, let's see. Okay, here you go. A badass for extra butter.
Yeah.
Oh, that's at the deal. I need an extra butter. Not too hot. Can you have you can't control the temperature of
I
the
mean,
butter.
warm, but not too hot.
All right, here we go. So let me put on this. Let's see how we do this here. I put a little thing in here.
Mhm.
Can I put I think we put the little tracker.
Hmm.
Boop, 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 boop,
Yeah, I think
boop,
that's what we
boop,
do. Let's see.
All right.
da-da.
How do I poop 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 poop? I didn't.
Marcus, I don't think you want us to be giving away any popcorn buckets.
There we go. Share screen. All right. Let's see, giveaway tool. Here we go.
Yes,
I'm gonna
Marcus.
share it here.
About 98.7.
Kat, would you mind in this tray there sharing that thing I just added, the white screen thingy?
Ah. Do do do.
There it is.
All right, there we go. All right, so Kokomo,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to start. Oh, I see. Oh, here we go.
Oh, look at all their pictures.
There it goes.
Through.
It's on the roll.
Do, 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 do. Who's gonna land on? Who's gonna land on?
Let's see here.
Oh, this is so exciting.
Winner, Donnie lost
There
it.
it
Oh,
is.
Donnie's on
Donnie. Congrats.
Hey, Donnie. Long time no speak. There you
Winner.
go, Donnie. All right, we'll get your info and get this over to you. Thanks so much for playing along. And hey, don't forget that this prize that we're sending over to Donnie was again, it was courtesy of Kokomo Toys. Visit them at kokomotoys.com or visit them in Kokomo, Indiana. That's what I plan on doing one day soon.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, but in addition to our show, this episode being brought to you by that fine sponsor, it is brought to you every week by a set of other folks. And so there you go, Kat. That's how I teach you up.
Oh, sorry. I was typing to congratulate
All right.
Donnie.
Hey, special
our
thanks to
show
our early adopters.
is brought to you thanks to our early adopters like Rick Parker and Karen Flieger.
Yeah, there they are.
There you go.
And thank you for joining us tonight, Karen. And thank you especially to our Secret of Our Success Level Patreon supporters, of which anyone could join this group. Just waiting for some more names, like Craig Coletta, Matt Marino, John Henderson, Brandon Greer, Marcus Taylor, Tony Great, and Nick Guillory.
There you go. Great. And don't forget also RC from NYC has joined us as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, RC.
I think he has. Maybe he hasn't. I don't know. Whatever. I
That's
don't know
what
if
I've
I
heard.
mentioned him all right. And we want to add another special thanks to our latest Patreon member, Kyle Palladino. Thank you, Kyle, for becoming a part
newbie.
one of our
Thank you,
patrons.
Kyle.
We greatly appreciate it because, look, we're really super thankful. Because without the generosity of these folks, we would not be able to pay the bills, keep the lights on, publish episodes every week because we use that money seriously. And John, I don't know if you do this with your podcast. I really think maybe I should share with the patrons the expenses so they could see the money, what their money's going to, because it's a real thing. There's real expenses,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Without the patrons, we're just talking amongst ourselves.
Yeah.
We're not going to publish. We're not going to have a platform. Yeah. For sure.
And we used to do that before. And it just seemed odd.
I'm connecting dots. Okay, I got it.
Anyway, so there you go. So please join us if you can. If you can't, just leave a comment, share a post. Follow us on Facebook, please, because if you don't already, because seriously, some publicists say, well, how many followers do you have on Facebook? It's that kind of thing that, makes a determination as to what kind of guests we can get, that sort of thing. And speaking of which, we got a bunch of interviews planned and some other cool things coming up as well. Some new true crime episodes. Kat's working on a one-hit wonder challenge to embarrass John and me.
Awesome. Can't wait.
So there you go. Hey, also again, special thanks to Marcus for helping put this our Crush segment together. All right, folks. Hey, we will join you next week when we will talk about more fun things. I always screw that up. All right, we will talk to you again. Not always. This time. Take 5. Hey, we will talk to you again next time on 1980s Now.
Until next time.
Extra butter.
All right, well, there you go. That'll be the episode for the show, right?
Yes.
No editing necessary.
Everyone.
Yeah. No editing necessary.
No editing. Yes.
I don't know, John. I'm not that brave.
I don't know. I'll go grab my conch shell. We'll make it a.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Hey, good night. Good night, Brandon. Good night, Brad. Thanks for staying up with us.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, there you go. Lisa says it was her first time watching. It was fun. Thank you, Lisa.
Oh,
Yes,
nice.
thank you, Lisa.
Oh,
Thank you,
there's-
everybody, for showing
there's
up.
Kyle, for coming. Yeah,
Most of
Especially
our
you, Kat. Thank you,
successful-
Kat, for showing up. I appreciate
Oh,
you for being
on time too. Yeah. Why am
I didn't
picking on
say
Kat?
that.
I love Kat. It just becomes I start getting,
It's 'cause-
I don't know. This force that once I start, it's like magnets. I get a little too close, and no, no, here it goes.
Oh no! Now I'm being cruel.
Yes.
It's because I was oppositional today, right?
Oh, yeah. Kat wants to do. We were discussing how many songs will be part of the next the One Hit Wonder episode.
Kimberly gave us a heart.
She did.
Oh, thanks, Kimberly.
She did.
Could be a red wig kind of night.
Oh, should I crochet
I'm not
her
into wigs. I don't
red
know.
wig?
Get you crochet a red
what?
wig. Yes, please.
Kat, I think it would be like sleeping with a Muppet at that point. If you were with someone who had a crocheted wig.
Ooh, I hadn't considered puppets.
Oh no, John does love puppets. We were told.
Hold on.
Look, I
Hold
still
on.
have.
Oh, she has it. No, Kat, don't
still
do
have
it.
red
It's too much.
triangle
Can't
here.
take it. It's red hair too. And the extra set of eyes is driving me crazy. I don't know where to look.
Dance your cares away. Yeah.
Look in my puppet eyes.
Hey, my eyes are up there.
Hey, my eyes are up
There.
Yeah. I'm gonna go up another level. Marcus says John isn't going to be able to walk for 20 minutes.
Oh my.
Oh, it's because you brought up puppets.
Oh.
I know.
Oh, man.
I can crawl.
All right.
Yes, you're good. Did you realize how many of our Secret of Our Success level Patreon supporters were here tonight? Including
I didn't, but I mean,
Brandon,
hey, that just
here.
it just further goes to how amazing
Because they're
and wonderful
fans.
they are. Yeah.
Oddly enough,
Yeah.
coincidentally,
Maybe the biggest fans. Yeah.
who'd have thought?
Sweet. It's
Want
so
to give
sweet.
their time and money. Yeah.
Yes. It's so sweet.
All right. Hey, we should log off and let John eat and Kat sleep. And I'm going to do both, probably back to back.
In that order. Yeah.
I'm amped.
You should definitely eat before you sleep. The other's way too messy.
Yeah, and don't fall asleep while eating. You know, you got to sit up
Yeah.
in bed if you're going to eat in bed. And I don't think I've ever fallen asleep eating. I have fallen asleep unexpectedly before. Like I didn't realize I was going to fall asleep. Usually it's on the couch though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I fell asleep
I'm gonna
folding
sit-
laundry once.
Really?
Yeah, in the
Wait,
middle
wait,
of it.
wait. In the laundry or
No,
Is-
while folding laundry.
well, folding laundry? Oh, I thought you were like in the laundry room and just.
When I worked at the
Just-
laundromat.
Maybe there's a gas leak.
Yeah. Wait, are you sitting, standing? What?
I was sitting on a bed.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You weren't folding fitted sheets or anything. It was just like
No, you got
Sucks,
exhausted.
just little things.
just,
When you
she's
woke,
folding really big blankets.
when you woke up, are you holding whatever you're folding? Are you covered in clothes? I mean,
Well, I only would have been covered if my roommate had decided to decorate me.
okay.
That would have been pretty easy. I was just sort of slumped over the basket, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like
Over the basket.
a health concern. I think I'd be concerned that the basket didn't wake you up when you hit the basket.
I don't think I hit the basket.
It's
I
a
think I
super
just sort of-
comfortable basket.
It was a gradual folding over my. I folded myself.
Wait, so this is you said sometimes you fall asleep unexpectedly. That's literally my goal every day is to fall asleep while watching TV or something. Like I
Okay.
hate to quit my day. I
Oh.
would much rather fall asleep in the midst of doing more day,
Mhm.
which means it's often 1:30 in the morning when I finally fall asleep. But
Oh.
I don't want to go to bed if I'm still awake and don't feel tired. I want to
Yeah.
be exhausted and like I want to be watching TV and then it's 3 a.m. and I have to get up and go to bed. You know, like I want that snap of like I fell asleep because I was exhausted.
So you
but-
want that?
Aren't you creating though by?
Yeah.
Are you watching something new or something you've seen before?
Oh, smoking lots of pot.
Okay, well that's different.
No, now I will sometimes take the little non-habit forming Z-Quil caplets. They help
no.
help you to relax. You know, I want that falling asleep feeling.
No, I said, are you watching? Are you watching something?
I
New
watch something
or-
comfortable. No, always
Okay.
old
So
stuff.
familiar.
Bob Newhart
Okay.
show, especially. I'll rewatch the Dilbert series for the 800th time. Just things that I've seen enough that I don't have to pay attention to. Yeah.
Okay, well
Yeah.
then, all right. I was going to suggest that maybe you're keeping yourself up longer by watching something interesting, but
Yeah.
if it's something you've seen a million times, then yeah.
Marcus said, or doing a podcast to help put
Yeah.
you to sleep.
Oh, is that what he meant? I thought he meant you couldn't walk or do a podcast for 20 minutes.
Teasing me.
Oh, you can't do a podcast?
No, because I fell asleep.
Oh, yes, that's right. Cat, oh,
Right.
doing laundry or a podcast. Oh my God. Thank you,
Yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah, thank you, Marcus. Thank
That's
you.
right.
The first show that Kat heard for the first time on Monday.
Yeah, right. hmm I wish that we had a way to turn, like, stop pumping sound into Kat's earbuds so that when she falls asleep, we could just let her sleep.
Or just switch it to
Sound machine.
just white noise you.
Yes. And then John and I we keep filming, but John and I walk away. We just leave.
We should just start. It's a test. We could just start doing our bits in super dulcet tones. Like, my crush was actually this character in this TV show.
That's a great idea, John. I agree 100%.
Here we go. Here we go.
There she goes. Clunk. She fell into the basket.
This
I
is the
think
equivalent.
if we want Kat not to fall asleep, we got to take that cover off the mic. It's too comfortable.
It's like a
It's like
pillow.
that spongy.
It's a nice little pillow.
Yeah. The pop filter helps.
Marcus says maybe John could talk more about Tetris.
Oh, I know I do.
There we go.
Brandon says the perfect way to go to sleep is just turn on YouTube and drift off. Yeah. I guess. Except
Yes.
as long as you know it's going to be served up, you know? Because
Just put it on a Gen X grown up playlist.
There you
You'll
go. That's
straight to
Oh.
sleep. Straight to sleep.
yeah, I'm trying to think, John, like what your sound is when a new episode comes on. Like you don't have you have music in the background. Some have times you have a little stinger or something, but not terribly disruptive. Yeah, you could do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've fallen asleep to like something on Hulu, and then before they put ads, and then like went to do that same thing, and then they have ads, and so in the middle of a show,
And that
I'm
jarred
falling
you
asleep.
awake.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I don't want
No
to
ads on
fall
Plex.
Oh, that's right. I don't want to fall asleep during shows or movies, although I
Yeah.
do. But I really don't want to.
You don't
Well,
want to.
yeah, not something you want to see though. Like I'm
No,
talking
no.
about.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I never put anything on Like I don't just sit down and turn
Yeah.
on TV.
Well, if
It's a concerted effort.
If I don't listen to something when I fall asleep, I tend to have terrible nightmares like immediately. So, and the therapist told me it's because you take in like the sounds you're hearing, and usually I fall asleep earlier than other folks. So whatever you're hearing could affect what you're thinking.
Sure.
And so she suggested to me, listen to something you're comfortable with and drift off to that because you'll feel safe and whatever.
Yeah.
I always put in earbuds when I go to bed to listen to something. So I don't sit there and even if I'm dead tired, I'll put if I hear 30 seconds of it, I'll still do it. And my go-to lately, I have ripped all the audio from Carl Sagan's Cosmos series in the 80s. Just because it's first it's Carl Sagan, he has an amazing voice. And then it's all like this symphonic music. It's orchestral music in the background while he's showing planets and shit everywhere. And so it's like super drifty. And then Carl Sagan will come in and go, billions and billions of stars and billions. And
yeah.
I'm like, it's awesome. Yep.
So comforting.
Brandon says he watches your YouTube videos, John, but rather than falling asleep, he ends up buying Atari stuff.
Yeah, I have that effect on people. I'm sorry.
You do. And
Karen, what does Karen say there, John?
Karen says when George yells bullshit.
Always
wakes her up.
Yeah. Which means you're never asleep for very long because it's coming.
No, it's inevitable. Owl says George would wake the dead.
Ooh, there you go. He'll never know. He doesn't listen to this.
He'll never know.
George and Mo switched. Yeah. Mo had some bullshit he wanted to talk about in the last episode.
Really? Right. Ooh, I got to check that out.
Yeah.
It was like a Freaky Friday episode. Or they both peed in the same fountain or something.
Oh.
Yes, but it wasn't a fountain.
Oh.
They went to the movies together.
Popcorn.
Ah. Mm-hmm. All right. Odds, heads or tails?
No, is that determining position or sequence?
Sequence.
Okay.
Oh, man.
Position.
I can't. I can't. No.
All right, you're holding it first.
I wanted clarity.
All right, George, you're holding it first. See you, Nick.
Later, Nick. See ya.
Bye, Nick. Nick's
All right,
like,
guys, let's get going. All right, good night, everybody.
All right.
Whoever's
I'm Audi 5000.
Love ya.
Good night,
See ya. Good night.
Let's see if this end stream button works.